In the headlines, dozens flee as bandits kill 50 farmers who rustle cattle, rams, goats in Niger communities. Reactions trail suspension of CVN governor as DSS confirms arrest of Godwin Emefiele. Abuja residents recount harrowing experience after gas-laden truck exploded. And on the foreign scene, 9 people killed in an attack by Al-Shabaab in Somali capital, Mogadishu. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. We begin with security. At least 50 farmers have been reportedly killed by bandits in various communities in Rafi local government of Niger State, while several others had fled their homes between Wednesday and Saturday. Daily Trust gathered that the latest attacks on about 5 villages took place between 2 p.m. on Friday and Saturday morning, during which unspecified number of lives were lost and several others abducted, including women and girls. Daily Trust reporter in Niger State, Abubakar Akoti, gives an update.
The latest attack happened between yesterday, Friday, and this morning, which is Saturday, where a specified number of farmers were reportedly killed and dozens have been abducted. This morning, victims said dozens have been fleeing to Kagara, the headquarters of Rafi local government, worsening the humanitarian crisis in the area. The attacks, according to victims, have been happening the last 1 week, but it has worsened since on Wednesday. And bandits now, according to the victims, are even sleep in their homes now as they run out of their various villages. Even yesterday, the senator representing the North Niger East, which Rafi local government is part of, also raised the alarm yesterday in a statement where he said 70 people were abducted between Wednesday and yesterday, and then the girls and women were being raped by bandits. And then the situation has just been, its lamentation has just been confirmed with the latest attack yesterday. And there were the victims early this morning when I spoke with them, lamented that despite the renewed attacks, especially those happening between Wednesday and today, there have not been responses from security operatives. Though they are patrolling the Kagara town and other major towns, but there's no response to the attacks. As bandits reportedly operated few kilometers away from local community headquarters, even as they moved toward some villages in Shiro local government. The state government has not said anything yet. That was also captured in the senator's statement yesterday, where he said it appeared that bandits were trying to test the capacity of the Niger State government and then the federal government with the latest attacks now that is happening in the last 1 week. Though police said they are making effort, the tactical deployment has been reviewed, and they are deploying more security agents to strategic areas in the local government to forestall the occurrence of the attacks. The routes of those bands are known according to victims. They have a normal route that they follow each time they attack, when they are coming and then when they are going out. So they want security agents to deploy their personnel to those strategic routes to ensure that they block their entrances and then the entry and the exit points to ensure that they don't come in. But each time these attacks have continued to reoccur without those routes being blocked. But what police public relations officers told me this morning is that they have reviewed the tactical deployment, and more security agencies, joint security agencies, including the military, have been deployed to the area, to those strategic areas to forestall the occurrence of this attack.
Meanwhile, the troops of Operation Forest Sanity have neutralized 6 bandits during an operation in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. This was contained in a statement by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, on Saturday. He said the troops raided bandits' hideout and during exchange of fire, neutralized 6 bandits in Maiduru village, Giwa local government, Kaduna State. He said the bandits' camp were destroyed during the covert operation. Just as it recovered several arms and ammunition. Residents of Sokoto State have expressed worry over a resurgence of bandit attacks in the eastern and northern parts of the state. Many villages were attacked by the bandits, killing over 30 persons and abducting several others. Abubakar Imam reported that many with gunshot injuries are currently receiving treatment in the hospital, with the state government footing their medical bills. The report.
A lull in banditry attacks, especially during the election season. Some communities in the northern and eastern parts of Sokoto State have woken up to series of dastardly attacks which claim dozens of lives and several others were injured. The attackers, suspected to be armed bandits, had invaded 3 communities in Tangaza local government area where they killed 37 persons and injured several others. 3 days after, another village in Wadaba local government area came under attack, resulting to the abduction of over 20 persons. Some residents who expressed concerns over the development speak to Trust TV on why banditry attacks resurfaced in the state.
Not so much was being had, especially regarding attacks by these terrorists in villages. And these people don't sit down. As terrorists, they are being trained to monitor when or to know when they should strike, especially where there is they know that the presence of the security agencies is absent. So I think by and large, the issues is that there was some kind of cold sheet, having not recorded for some time incidences of attacks on communities.
So at the state level, my advice to the new government is, number one, they should come out with programs that will engage youth and young people across all the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State. And then the other point, or one other advice, is for the government to engage the traditional leaders. When you engage the traditional leaders, they know new faces in their communities, they know who is new, who is not new, and then they also easily have access to information. So if you engage the traditional leaders, they know the bad youths in their communities, they know the good youths in their community, and through that, government can have information.
While commending the major supper taken by the new government in the state, they advise it on what to do to curtail the menace.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has confirmed that Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is now in its custody for some investigative reasons. Peter Afunenya, Public Relations Officer at Department of State Services, in a statement urged the public, particularly the media, to apply utmost caution in the reportage and narratives. In the video, a white pickup truck stops on an airstrip next to what appears to be a private jet. DSS operatives step out of a white pickup truck holding handcuffs, followed by the suspended CBN boss, who emerges from the backseat dressed in a gray native tunic and matching trousers, a northern hat and brown leather slippers, ushering him on to what appears to be a private jet. The security agents follow closely behind. The revelation comes hours after the DSS denied reports that Emefiele was in its custody. Residents of Kwara State have been reacting to the suspension of Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, by President Bola Tinubu, saying his removal is long overdue and expected. While some attribute his suspension to his Naira redesign policy, others want the president to be patient and appoint someone that will turn around the economic fortunes of the country and bring relief to the people.
He was supposed to be a technocrat financially, giving advice that are reasonable to that government. But a retrospection of most of the pieces of advice he gave under Buhari's regime were purely anti-people's policies. And people consider such policies as too harsh and very, very difficult. So, to me, for the new president to have taken the decision he took, it's a very laudable one. It's a plus to his administration. He has shown to the whole world that he meant business and that there is no room, no matter how small, no matter how minute, for people who are going to serve in his government and will be shunning out anti-people's policies.
Here is a man who came in 2014. And the total figure of money in circulation at the time was $1.5 billion. And gradually, as at the last count, maybe last year or thereabout, it has jumped to $3.23 billion in circulation. And sat still, almost 3/4 of this figure were outside the banking system. So one begins to wonder, what is this man doing there that things are happening? And here is a man who has some allegations that DSS, Director of Security, had against him. That one, he was alleged to have been funding terrorism in this country. Here is a man who, as a public officer, without resignation, attempted to run for presidency. And one of the things DSS we were told had against him was that he raised funds for his campaign, running into huge amount of money in his capacity as CBN governor.
An outgoing senator from Zamfara State, Lawal Anka, has questioned the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) that the party might witness a repetition of what transpired during the election of principal officers of the 7th and 8th National Assembly if the party sticks to micro-zoning the ticket to 2 individuals. Anka, who represented Zamfara West in the 9th Senate, shared his perspectives on the leadership race for the 10th National Assembly, which the party has zoned to the South-South and Northwest for the Senate President and his deputy, while Northwest and Southeast are to produce the Speaker and his deputy. Senator Anka said dabbling into the National Assembly leadership race and imposition of candidates may not augur well for the ruling party.
If you look at the 7th Assembly during Tambol, that would happen. Government didn't like to elect Tambol, but Tambol win. If you come at assembly, the same thing.
So do you see the same thing repeating in the
Inshallah, the same thing will repeat in this 10th assembly.
So why are you so confident?
I'm confident because I know that the situation that how you see outside the chamber is different than what you're going to see in the chamber.
The anointed candidate as purported, if we recall back, the party itself have to reverse after the presentation of the other aspirant, because the independence of legislative is very important. That is why even the party has to take a second twist on the decision as it is now. We don't want the party, in as much as we respect the party and party is supreme, we don't want the party to enter a constitutional issue, because doubling into the National Assembly leadership in the way of imposing is against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Truck conveying gas exploded in Gwagwa, a satellite town in Abuja, throwing residents into confusion. The incident happened Friday evening, where it took place near a location known as the police junction. In Gwagwa, an eyewitness said the truck driver had suddenly parked there and alerted people to run. Confirming the incident in a statement, Josephine Ade, FCT police spokesperson, said the tanker developed a mechanical problem. She said the police deployed officers to the scene to prevent an escalation, adding that no casualties was recorded. Some residents and eyewitnesses narrate their audio.
Unfortunately, we had a terrible accident yesterday when we were here with our friends and our neighbors. It was a tanker that's really passing. It's really passing through this way. The tanker driver started alerting people that his tank is really, there is leakage. It's leaking. People should run away from the tank. So we now decided to stop people coming up and going down. We stop people. In a few minutes, now we had the fire catch. So in a few minutes again, we had the explosion of the gas. The people began running away. When people began to run away, many of them wounded. Even some of there are some few victims that were born.
I received a call of fire in my area here, and when I rushed down here, I discovered that fire has occupied everywhere here, and even these Bababula or so-called people, I don't actually know them. They were all occupied in this area here, trying to loot the properties. So when we came with the help of other brothers, we were able to resist some of them. And when we discover, at the end of the day, we discovered that some wedding machines are not here, farming machines are not here.
Here around 8:10, we now stand at the roadside. Before the tank come and stop there, we see the smoke of the gas. I now told one woman that we are together that this thing is a gas, and we see that this thing is leaking now. Everybody should run for his life. I now come to this outside people that they are staying here. Let us run, because this is gas. Everybody should run. I went inside to take my family out through the back door. From there, we hear the sound. We don't know what's happened again. We see fire everywhere. We are running to succeed, but we do not even know what to do. Everywhere is fire. While some, they are trying to even take something. But we thank God for the Gwagwa youth. They help us a lot.
You are watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming off after the break, we take a look at how electricity disconnection unsettles students. For details of these and more after the break, do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now, a recap of our top stories. Dozens flee as bandits kill 50 farmers, rustle cattle, rams, goats in Niger communities. A reactions trail suspension of Civian governor as DSS confirms arrest of Godwin Emefiele. Now to other news. Residents of Bada community in Nasarawa local government area of Kano State are experiencing water shortage. The community is seeking government's intervention to make safe drinking water available. Hamid Oyebade, who spent 2 days in Kano recently, files in the report.
As the saying goes, water is life. Water is used in drinking, bathing, washing, and food preparation. Human beings need water to survive. For residents of Badawa community in Nasarawa local government area of Kano State, water scarcity is making life difficult, and women and children are at the receiving end.
If you want buy one jarka for water, you go come out 80 naira, 90 naira, sometimes 60 naira. When you get a mile, before you get that water, you go suffer. See small children, now so you go come out, you and your children, to go and pay some water in the night by 1 o'clock, by 2 o'clock in the night. Look how the life is. I'm begging government to come and help Badawa area about the water.
Like lack of water, most especially this time we are now, the children normally, children supposed to bath even more than 3 or 4 times a day. But if the water is not there, you have to limit or compromise the amount of water you use in bathing the children, and sometimes it even affects the health of the children because they say water is life.
You see, when it comes to the issue of inadequate water supply, one of the problems is that you have to go to the layout to get it. A hand pump provided in the community by federal government is no more functioning. One of the water vendors in the community, Wakilu Abubakar, said getting water for the residents was a very difficult task. What we are more concerned about when it comes to the lack of water supply is that we often do not get water. This man is the only man that has water in this area, and the moment he does not pump water, that is when we suffer the most in this area. Government should check the situation and help us and bring us out of this critical situation of water scarcity in this community. This is the only thing we are appealing to the new government to help us with here. The water scarcity also contributed to poor environmental sanitation in the area, with attendant risks for residents, particularly the children. Hamid Oyebade, reporting for Trust TV.
Students of University of Maiduguri are having a hard time coping with the rigors of academic activities following the disconnection of electricity by the distribution company. The 3 weeks blackout made students to rely on street lights to study and other alternatives to charge their mobile phones and other devices. Petrus Kurisi has more on this.
A viral memo going round on campus giving a full detail of the disconnection explained that a power bill of over 48 million naira charged by the electricity distribution company must be paid before a reconnection, despite the institution advance payment to avoid total blackout. The power blackout, which prolonged for 3 weeks, has created hardship for students in terms of carrying out academic activities.
Now, a lot of us read through their phones, laptops, and other accessories you may think of. No electricity in the hostel. How will the school want the student to cope? And this season we are in now is a week for CA. So it affects us a lot.
Before we get an information from our various departments, we must have charge in our phone so that we may able to receive message via our WhatsApp or our group that are located in every group. So it is very difficult for us to get light, to charge our phone, to get light, to read during the night and do our other related activities in the school.
I normally come to LT, but at night I don't come, I stay outside because there's too much heat inside. Because there's no electricity, so there's no fan.
Most of the students now rely on street lights to study. John is preparing for a continuous assessment test coming up in 2 days. He said it's difficult concentrating because of the distractions of passerby and the insects.
Things that I could do at my convenience, I now have to stress for them. Whereby reading at lecture halls or reading at home at my convenience with things nearer to me, I would have to leave my home now or check down to our lecture halls just to get a place that has light. The weather is hot and aggressive, so everywhere you go you have to take water. And now, you staying under the solar, this insect won't let you study well because your concentration now, the concentration you need to give to your study will begin to get affected. As it is now, I'm just trying to make myself read because I know that if I don't do it, I still have a long way to go.
Okay. The first semester examinations will begin soon and the students are more than worried. The students hope that the school management quickly fix the problem of power blackout on time.
Now, away from Nigeria, 9 people were killed in an attack claimed by Al-Shabaab militants at an upper market restaurant in the Somali capital Mogadishu on Friday night. Police said in a statement those killed at the popular Pearl restaurant were 6 civilians and 3 soldiers. Additionally, Abdulkadir Abdurrahman, director of Amin Ambulance Service, said his group had carried 20 wounded people from the scene. The police statement, however, stated that security forces rescued 84 civilians, while the fate of the attackers was unclear. The Somali National News Agency said on Twitter that security forces have successfully neutralized the Al-Shabaab militants responsible for the terrorist attack on the Pearl Beach Hotel in Lido Beach, Mogadishu. On Saturday, debris from the restaurant was strewn around the blood-stained street. Window panes were shattered. And now finally, in sports news, Scottish Premiership giant Glasgow Rangers are close to sealing a deal for Nigeria forward Cyril Dessers. According to reports in Italy, Rangers are close to agreeing a deal with Cremonese for the striker. The Jazz will pay €4.2 million plus €1 million add-ons for Dessers. The 28-year-old only linked up with the Cremonese from Belgian Pro League outfit KRC Genk last summer. Dessers is, however, determined to leave the club following their relegation from Serie A. He scored 6 goals in 26 league appearances for Cremonese in the 2022-2023 season. Rangers finished second in the Scottish Premiership last season and will compete in the Europa Champions League preliminary rounds. With that, we have come to the end of Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.